talk about 5 years ago, we never thought about beating Pakistan or India on a regular basis. We never had that confidence. Now we started beat them. Pakistan, we beat them 4 times in a row now. So now we go into these games knowing that
All right, guys. So this is the 15th episode of the Yorker. The Asia Cup is now over. We're not surprised at all. This was supposed to happen. We couldn't get over the hurdle again. Last ball drama. We all expected it. The question is why. I want to focus on that. I believe it's because our batsmen they play too many aerial strokes against spinners and they get caught. Same thing happened in Champions League, Champions Trophy semifinal against India when the middle order totally collapsed after the partnership was broken. Same thing this time, except it was the opening partnership that was broken, and after that they all collapsed like dominoes, one by one. So Rinat, uh, so what do you think? Why do they keep trying aerial shots? Does it take more skill to play ground strokes versus spinners?
From the very little cricket I play, I think so. At least I personally felt like it's easier to go aerial against spinners, um, because simply because it's kind of hard to go with the pace of the spinners because they're always having a variation in their pace. So uh, usually when you premeditate and you go aerial, it's kind of easier at least to me. But again, I some credit must be given to the Indian bowlers. I feel when they were bowling after the initial breakthrough, I think they were bowling extremely well. I mean, they are the best spin attack in the world right now. I think, and they lived up to it. They weren't giving anything outside. They were bowling good line and length. They had some good drift going. So it's a natural strategy to frustrate the batsman, which
Yeah.
they did, and that's how the wickets fell.
Do they really have the best spin attack? I mean, aren't their most famous bowlers pacers in Bumrah? Or I may be totally wrong on that. Are guys like Kuldeep and Chalala are they the real deal? Uh, what do you think?
Um, I think so.
Yeah.
I think they have a nice mix. They have those all three variations working in the same attack, and they're the kind of spin attack that they're equally good in Test ODIs and T20s. It's a nice balance. They're all very experienced. They play like tons of games in subcontinent. Each spinner, they play IPL, so I think they are probably the
True.
most experienced and most balanced, as
Yeah.
well as versatile spin attack in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. That being said, all they had to do was play out the 50 overs, and they didn't have to try that many aerial strokes. And if they batted out the 50 overs, which they couldn't even do, Bangladesh, then we would have won this match. And it didn't happen. Didn't happen. What do you think, Mufi?
I mean, hindsight is 2020. So obviously, our after a very good turn. I don't want to talk in details about the game itself, but
All right.
going back to your question, I think at that point, Mushfiq and Riyad and other batsmen they tried to push it. They thought that they would go like 300, 300 plus. So I think that's where we failed. So from gear one, we tried to go to gear three or gear four rather than skipping to gear two. And I think the risk that we took, it was could have been avoidable, but just the nerves, the pressure got to them. As you said, this it's only the seniors when they don't click, the juniors click, and the juniors click, the seniors don't click. It's because the juniors in this pressure games, when you talk about Liton, Mustafiz, Rubil, or other players, they don't have the nerves or the experiences of the seniors, the games that they've lost from 2012 Asia Cup, 2016, 2015 Champions Trophy, um, other games is the nerves of the past that comes back, the ghost of the past, I would call,
Yeah.
to come back and haunt our senior players such as Mushfiq, Shakib and Tamim were not there, but Riyadh. So the pressure against playing against India is also a challenge, and I think they just crumble under the pressure. Other than that, when you think about Mushfiq coming in the Afghanistan game or the Sri Lankan game, Riyadh playing a very good game against Afghanistan, they were in a lot more pressure. Mushfiq came in at 8 for 3 wickets and built a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
So in against Pakistan. So in this game, he came in after 20 overs, and we had a lot of runs on the board. So he came in a much easier situation, but just could not handle the pressure.
Yeah,
And I think
it's just that I've seen them do this again, and I'm not going to judge them, but I'm going to tell them this: you keep this up, and he'll be in the same position again, guys. If I don't know uh, anyone from the management or I don't know if they watch this.
But at the end, I was pleased with the result. I mean, I'm not happy about it. I'm disappointed, frustrated, but I'm
Yeah,
not heartbroken about it because we are
exactly.
never in the game. We are never in a winnable situation in this game. We always try to catch up
Yes.
against India. We're always trying to restrict runs. We took wickets in between. We just kept ourselves in the game. And at the very end, you can't defend 6 off 6 balls
Right.
against India.
I
So
I totally agree. Some people were saying we were in a winning position. I don't think we were
no.
ever because India's tail it's better than ours. India's tail
Yeah, I
is
mean
just better.
you can never defend. You can never defend 222 against Indian side.
Right.
And we have to understand there was no Shakib, so we're always playing a fifth spinner that was not there. So trying to like have Riyadh coming in bowling some. So it was always a challenge. So
Right.
overall
Right.
disappointed, but not
Right.
heartbroken, not devastated, and like other games in the past where we lost, where we had the game in the bag and we lost the game. This was not the case. This was we're always trying to hold India back.
Right.
And if we look at the big picture, let's be honest. I mean, the number 7 team not beating the number 1 team isn't really something to be frustrated about. Like, yeah, I know we were very close as it gets, in fact. But then again, there's a reason why India is number 1. I mean, they paced their innings perfectly. I feel like even if we scored another 20 runs, they would have paced it like that, which they kind of went into a shell in the middle overs, and they wouldn't have done that.
Right.
So can't really say that. I think our boys did really well. Of course, there are some things that you're always gonna fall short on, but that's why we are progressing, and as time goes, I feel like as we move up the rankings, we are gonna
Yeah.
get better at this.
If they, Rinat, what you said made sense. The first team playing the seventh team. If they crushed us, I would accept that. But we could compete, right? We could compete reasonably well, which is why Mufi's so happy. We're all, as fans, we're very happy. The
Yeah,
question is, the question is, if you could compete that well, why not go all the way? And it's just so bizarre the way that the juniors and seniors they can't click together, which is what I want to happen. Because if that happened, I think we would have gotten it in the bag. And I'm getting mad now, but okay, I'll try not to be.
it's just the psychology, the mentality that we just have to win one big trophy, and once we know that we can win a championship, we can be the champions. It's gonna give us a lot of confidence. It's gonna give us that extra boost. Because talk about 5 years ago, we never thought about beating Pakistan or India on a regular basis. We never had that confidence. Now we started beat them. Pakistan, we beat them 4 times in a row now. So now we go into these games knowing that we have the capability, we have that ability to beat Pakistan or Sri Lanka or Afghanistan. I mean, yeah, those teams. But India also, we are not in that stage yet. That we all we need to do is just have that one trophy, one big win, and I think after that, it'll come naturally.
Very true. Plus, may I just say that maybe it'd be a different story had it been in Sherebangla because we're stronger there. Mustafiz is even more effective than he normally is. So I don't know. Maybe it's going in a different direction. But yeah, just to belabor your point about how far we have actually come because we're even a stronger team in Sherebangla Stadium. But yeah, I feel like that was a
Yeah,
quick, concise review. I do wanna, if you wanna add anything else about the final match, if you don't have anything to say, you have something to say. So I wanted to
Go
talk
ahead.
yeah.
about,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, I wanted to talk about the runouts. I again is something I feel like these things will come back to haunt us, even if everything goes our way, and if you keep repeating these kind of silly mistakes, then no matter what the team is, and especially on the grand occasions when it's a knockout game, we're gonna pay the price. And some of the runouts, I think we had 3 runouts, if I'm not wrong. That's too much to have for one innings. Certainly two. And yeah, man, it's just I know you have to let bygones be bygones. Whatever happened happened. But as a fan of the Tigers, I just it's kind of hard to fathom those things, the runouts, the fact that they didn't click together. I'm not mad, I guess. It's just I know we have to fix these things. If we don't fix these things, then we're not going to
Yeah.
improve. Even though, even after 2 or 3 years, even if you progress as a team, get better talent, better A team, better pipeline, even if you get mark all those off from the checklist, you're going to come back to these runouts and people batsmen trying aerial strokes. So yeah, that's it.
I think after the game also the players have matured quite a bit. The senior players, the younger players, you can tell from the reaction of the players also. So now it's time the fans to mature. We need to get ourselves outside of the mentality, blaming it on everything else but our team, but players, but our own situation. So this is something that we'll also have to understand, and just take it at the end of the day. It's just a game. So we respect our opposition, whether it be India, Pakistan, Australia, England, or anyone, or even Afghanistan or Hong Kong. And so this is just take it as a game. It's a loss, but life goes on. So we should not cross the line of like disrespecting any of the players or the country or the teams, and looking at ourselves first rather than just blaming it on, oh, this run out could have been, this jumping could have been in our favor. These things happen in any day, or the fixture was not right. We had to travel. These are just part of modern day game, I think. So I think Rinat has a lot more to say on this as well.
No, I think you said it mostly perfectly. The only thing is, it's I understand that when like if you look at the Indian fans and the Pakistani fans, sometimes they can get under your skin, but we also have to realize that they as a team, their achievements have a lot more substance than we do, right?
Yeah.
I think as a fans, we need to calm down, we need to relax, and we need to let our players actually get some achievements in these big tournaments before we start thinking that we are at that same level. We're really not. But yeah, rest aside, I think Mufi said it perfectly. I think when losses are part of the game, and I think we would do better if we were a little bit more humble in social media, especially. But yeah, that's gone. I think Asia Cup it was a good tournament. I honestly did not expect it to be this good after the initial
Yeah.
injuries and whatnot, and then we also have very little experience playing in the UAE, so it was still a very good tournament. Moving forward, I think it will give them a lot of confidence for the World Cup, and we have a few series before that as a preparation. So I want to ask you though. Let's ask Mufi on this. So Mufi, how are you feeling? How do you think that the next two series should go for Bangladesh in terms of the strategy or the approach?
So I'm reading an article about the selector Nannu, and he was saying that he is more or less he's happy with the ODI side for the next series, the next home series, which was this month, end of the month against Zimbabwe, is a test team that he's struggling a bit with because Tamim is not there, Shakib is not there. Going back, I mean, to our future, the next series against Zimbabwe, the home series towards the end of the month. I was reading an article about our chief selector Nanu. He was saying that he is more or less happy with the ODI team, but with the test team that he's struggling to come up with a solid 11, a solid 15 because Tamim is not going to be there. Mashraf is not in the test team, of course, and then Mushfiq he's also not 100% sure. He still has a pain in his rib cage. So he's going to experiment, and I think he will bring in some new players, such as from the BCL is going on right now. Ariful just scored at 200 the last time I saw in playing for, I believe. Ashraf was also playing. So there's a rumor going on that Ashraf might come back. He scored a half century. He took 2 wickets, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I think this is the perfect time. We have, I would say, if we had to choose any opponent, any weak opponent in Zimbabwe right now, is that team. So and a home series as well. So this could not be a better chance for the young players such as Shanto, such as Abu Haidar and Liton Dash and all this. But this is the platform. Mossadegh, Hassan. This is the platform, and they should take this chance with both hands. They should grab this with both hands and do something and build on this.
Yeah. No, I was just laughing it right in the end because I feel like you're absolutely right. And it's such a good opportunity for the youngsters to have like a total a team without any seniors. If that actually ends up happening, if Tamim, Shakib, they're not eligible to play. If Mushi's rested, Masha's rested.
Mm-hmm.
If even Fizz is rested, then well, Fizz is a youngster himself. But say all the youngsters are in the team, then to me, two things could happen. Either it's a total failure, you get whitewashed by them, or it's sink or swim. And I know it's kind of funny to make such comparisons, but I think the metaphor it's kind of true. Like anytime you have an elder in there, the juniors they kind of feel coddled. Like okay,
Mm-hmm.
but they can have her back. We can take it easy, I guess, guys.
Right.
But if you take them away, it's sink or swim. You either get whitewashed by Zimbabwe, and it's not the same side who faced Pakistan, by the way, because they're getting some senior players back, and Jarvis and Cole. So
Uh,
But let's say like in 5 years from now, this is the core of our team. This Shanto
you
Lead
have to, yeah, you have to
Mo.
take the leap of faith.
So you have to take the leap of faith, and you cannot give them an easier opponent in an easier condition than this. So if they can perform against Zimbabwe in the home conditions, how can we have faith in these players 5 years from now?
I think Riyadh will make a
um,
good captain. Let Riyadh be the
yeah,
captain, and yeah, go ahead, Rinat.
I'll add something. I kind of don't agree with you guys here, and I think Bangladesh team is not in a situation where they have to go through a complete rebuild. I mean, our core players are still 5, 6 years away from retirement. So at this point, we shouldn't have to put like 6, 7 new guys in the team because that's what rebuilding is all about. Right now, we can afford to bring 1 or 2 guys at a time, and then gradually bring them to the national team. I mean, if you guys look at it right now with Tamim and Shakib gone, even if Mashrafi plays, even if Mushfiq Riyad plays, we'll still have approximately 6 to 7 guys that are gonna play that doesn't have a permanent spot in the team. That's an overwhelming percentage of the team right there, right? Now, if we drop even more players, and if we drop Mashrafi, and then we drop Fizz, and we drop Mushfiq, and whatnot, and I'm not talking about, and this argument is completely irrelevant if they're injured and they're not fit. But if they're fit, I think if we are going with even with Mashrafi, Mushfiq, and the best possible squad, we will still have half the sides that are basically going to be in experimentals. And I don't think we should be experimenting more than that this
We are
close to the
not.
World Cup.
There's two things. The first thing is, yeah, I mean, we're not resting them out of because we want to. Mushfiq is not 100%. I mean, we saw this case with Shakib. We pushed him, and we pushed him so far that he was almost he got his whole wrist infected almost. That
Yeah.
could have been a lot worse for his like entire career and his wrist. So we don't want to do the same thing with Mushfiq. So and I just want the younger players to take on more responsibility. Yes, we might have some new faces, but I want the likes of Liton, Shanto, Mossadegh.
I
If
mean,
Shomo comes back,
to be fair, I think Fizz is going to play. When I said Fizz, it was just a cherry on the top, but I don't think anyone wants Fizz's exclusion. Mash,
Well, he doesn't need to play in the test, right?
right.
Because we're playing Zimbabwe. We're gonna make a ranked Turner. You know, our spinners are gonna be taking the wickets. They're gonna be bowling majority of the overs. So why play Fizz and then make him field like even 3-4 days? There's no point about
Oh,
that.
okay.
He can easily rest,
Sure.
right?
Yeah. You're
It's
looking
all
at
about the strategy.
you're
Yeah,
looking at the grand picture. Yeah, I get it.
I
Absolutely.
am. And in the ODIs, you play him for the first two ODIs. We win. You can automatically rest him for the third, right?
Right. And the thing about
He doesn't have to play all the games.
Mushfiq is what you said. I think most people consider him injured at the moment because he played with a rib injury, as we know. So it's just a
Yeah.
matter of him getting back to 100%. And if he's not 100%, I don't think he should play. Even if he's at 80%, I think he should set it out. That's what I think.
Oh,
But yeah,
yeah, I think so. I mean, I whatever I said, it's only relevant if they are 100% fit. If they're not, then that's a completely different argument. But
right.
yeah, we can get into this series a little bit later.
Exactly.
Um, let's wrap it up. And before we
Yeah.
do wrap it up, I do have some questions from one of our friends. His name is Naeem, and he actually asked us a few questions to address really quickly. There are four questions, so we're not gonna take time to each to answer. We're not gonna take time to answer all of them of between all of us. It's just gonna each of us. Let's just take one, okay? So I'll start with Roey. The first question is: did we feel the absence of Tamim and Shaki really quickly?
Ooh, really, really good one. Of course we did. Because, yeah, Miraz did his job, but at a very slow strike rate. Too slow. Anyone else but Miraz, I'd be on their case. So I'm just letting. Is a newbie, so I'm still a newbie, relatively new, so I'm letting him pass. So of course we felt the absence of Tamim. He's
Okay.
always a great player. Uh,
Okay. And Mufi, I'm gonna ask you the second one. So, besides the batting, let's go into our bowling and talk about where did we lose it? Was our bowling always in control of the innings? Were we going into the second innings with a losing total to defense?
I think it's the latter. We 220 against India was never enough, and so no matter how hard you try, you can never defend with the team with the likes of Rohit Sharma, Dhawan, Dhoni, and Jadeja and all these players. And just to add a little bit on it, we missed. I think that also intertwines the first question, the lack of Shaki. And I think, yeah,
Yeah. And then the third question is, could Marsh have done something different in his death bowling lineup? And I'll answer that if you guys don't mind.
no, go ahead.
Um, I don't think he could have done anything different. I think he was going for the kill. He used all his bowlers because he knew the only way to win this game is to bowl out India. Uh, if we fielded 50 overs, which we did, and that's how we lost the game. So I kind of don't blame him for this. The only thing he could have done differently before the game is he should have realized that the only ways we beat India in the past, or at least in the recent past, is by playing four seamers. Uh, our seamers have been generally good against them, so maybe that there was a strategic error that he and the management made. Maybe having Ronnie would have been a big advantage. And finally, his fourth question was, can we talk about the World Cup preparations? I think we're going to get into that
Yeah,
in
leave it
depth
for later.
with months to come. Yeah.
All
So,
right, so there you have it. Oh, did I? You were saying something? Or?
no, we're good.
We're
no,
good. So thanks for tuning in. This was it for a review episode of the Asia Cup, and we talked about the future strategy as well. But like Rinat said, we'll get into it more as the series approaches. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.
See ya.